Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve with a special edition this time, and we are on the awesome Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas, and I am here with
Steven.
and
You didn't have to lean into the mic. You could just sit where you are and say Steven. And Sonny.
hi guys, how are you? Sonny, how's it going, buddy? Having a good time here?
I'm having a great time. I'm at my wit's end with my recording partner. But thank God that's over in less than 48 hours. Not going to see his ugly ass for at least 6 months.
It's all untruth spoken. Sonny's been on my tip for the entire cruise.
I don't even want to address that. Stephen, how you doing? How you having a good time, my friend?
Man, I couldn't be having a better time if I was twins.
Yeah, we're having an awesome time here. There's us three. Our three lovely wives are here, and they're I think they're crafting as we speak right now, which is fine. You know what? They can do their thing. Yeah, no shit.
Come out of the recording studio.
They're plotting our deaths and making sure our life insurance is paid up and everything. So, how's things over at Growin Up Rock, my friends? Good, Steven?
Growin Up Rock is moving right along each and every week, twice a week.
How about you, Pooni? Growin Up Rock and ARC and Podcast Rock City?
All is good in all 3 or 4 of the worlds. Just going along with the emotions.
Good. And actually, today is the 21st of September, so we're recording in cabin 8450, I think it is. And I'm about halfway through your guys' Kiss Dirty Dozen episode. And it's interesting, some of the picks so far. Steven, I knew you were going to pick Beth, and I knew you picked Shandy. I think I was on Beth when I had to turn it off today. And so I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of that. Sonny, how do you think that episode went? I think it's cool so far. And Sonny and I were kind of talking about it when before we came up here about, because you guys mentioned that you didn't mention, who picked what, like of listeners and stuff like that. I think that was a really good idea.
Yeah, Kiss Army can be rough on people that have opinions, so we figure we just keep the names silent. Anything our podcast does, Growin Up Rock, with a Kiss topic, always does well, because for some reason, Kiss Army can't get enough Kiss podcasts. I don't know what it is. They want to hear everybody's opinion on what they think about Kiss. They don't got that with Iron Maiden or anybody else. So I did.
Tell them how they're wrong.
Yeah, and tell them how everybody's wrong. Nobody's right, everybody's wrong. How could that be possible when everybody thinks that? And technically, nobody's right and everybody's wrong.
Right.
I just don't understand why people have as strong of opinions as they do about music in general, but Kiss in particular. I mean, it's not like people don't feel differently about Van Halen or Judas Priest or Iron Maiden. They all have their opinions, but for some reason, Kiss brings out cools in people. I mean, just people can be really nasty and mean, and it's just a weird collection of individuals and their passions around Kiss.
It is. It's what do they say? Star Wars fans and Kiss fans go crazy over to that extreme with everything. Yeah. Which is I like both, but I'm not going to get into a fight with someone over.
I'm not a Star Wars or Star Trek. I don't know.
Not even like any of that.
That kind of imagination. That's why.
I don't know. I think some things are easy picks, but I don't believe there's a right and wrong when it centers around music. If you like,
well, yeah, there is. Power metal sucks. Half a fucking righty's phone is shit.
That is so untrue. That is so untrue. Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to get into that.
Come into your house and be mean to you, buddy.
He's mean to me whenever. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. Jesus Christ. So before we get into this, we've been listening to Stephen. How about you? What do you got going?
I have been listening to, obviously, a bunch of Kiss to get ready for this episode, but I've also been listening to the new record by Blackbird Angels, which is Todd Kerns and Tracy Guns. There's some good stuff on that record. I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but the stuff I've been listening to I like. Again, I've said it before on a couple other episodes. I've been listening to a lot of the Mammoth 2, WVH2 record, and then the latest from Eclipse I've also been listening to.
How about you, Sonny?
I've been listening to the new Pop Evil record, Skeletons. Their, what's that, 7th record now. They're not out of format, by the way. They are still rock. Pop Evil's just one of those bands that if you are a hard rock fan and you haven't given it a shot because you think it's goth rock or alt rock or whatever, Pop Evil, they dwell in that society, but they're probably one of the more straight ahead folks out of that society. So if you haven't tried any of the new album, you might want to try a song called Paranoid. It's pretty good. And it's not a cover.
Okay. And for me, still checking out the new Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, Kings of the Asylum album. Really good. New Eclipse as well, like Steven. And I've been delving deep into some Joe Bonamassa. I can't get enough of his guitar playing lately. And so I'm just loving that. Waiting for his new album to come out, Blues Deluxe 2. I think it comes out in October. So that's what we got going. Some Pop Evil, Skeletons for Sonny. The Blackbird Angels for Steven with some Mammoth and the new Eclipse. And actually, I listened to the new Eclipse a little bit last night, too. A very good album. Phil Campbell, The Bastard Sons for myself, Joe Bonamassa, Eclipse, and even the new Tail Gunner album I've still been talking about. And speaking about, Sonny said about my phone before, Steven, when you and Jen went to lunch, we were kind of talking about our year-end lists. So, we're pretty much like 3/4 of the way through the year, and you're getting to the point where you're compiling your albums. And how's your list going for the end of the year? You don't have to say what they are, but just how's it going?
Yeah, no, it's going well. Sonny and I communicate throughout the year because a lot of times, because I know Sonny's much better at keeping lists than I am, so I have to tell him, hey, send me the latest list and let me shore it up with my list and make sure I haven't missed some albums or whatever. But we're getting to that point now in late September, October, where you start really sort of stripping away the fat and getting down to your 20 or 30 records in that last month. And then anything that might drop in November and December. And then at mid-December point, you got to ace it and get down to your 10 records. So that's where we're at. That's where I'm at.
How you doing with yours, Sonny?
I've listened to probably 160, 170 albums. Some of them not in full because I couldn't even get through a song. I've got it down to 21 that are on my playlist right now that got a shot at top 10. But I mean, we're at the beginning of October right now, so still got a month or two to go. The last couple of years, there has been an album or two that's come out late that sneaks in. So it kind of depends on what comes out. I know there's some stuff that I think got pushed to 2024 that was supposed to come out, but yeah, I'm down to 21 albums. But we were sharing, and I'm like, have you heard this one? They're like, oh, have you heard this one? Nope. Have you heard this one? Nope. And Steve would go, have you heard this one? I'm like, yeah, shit. Have you heard this one? Yeah, shit.
Yeah, and because we were going through but those Sonny gave me a lot that I wasn't aware of yet that I will be checking out, and most of the ones that I said, hey, did you hear this? And he says, shit, that means they're good. So, and you guys know the difference between Sonny's taste in music and mine.
And why would you go to him for the stuff that you haven't heard? Why wouldn't you come to me when yours and my taste are so much closer?
Well, because we were just going through albums that we had listened to.
What is Tail Gunner? I don't even know what that is.
Check it out.
Why would he go to you if you don't know what Tail Gunner is?
I don't know what that is.
They're on Spotify. Tail Gunner. It's called Guns for Hire, the album. Really good.
What kind of band?
Straightforward metal. Straightforward metal.
Has he ever given you a straightforward metal? It's not straightforward.
What is it?
You think it is.
metal bullshit.
It's not power metal.
It's that power metal bullshit.
It's not.
That's exactly what it is.
Well,
It's straightforward.
terrible.
It's straightforward metal. I'll say it's straightforward metal.
Okay.
It's not terrible. It's
Very
very
metal church.
very good.
One word, tail gunner.
No, see, that's not my church sucks. I like this metal church. And we were talking about that too. That's a band I just can't get into.
Metal church.
Are you metal church fans, Steven?
I'm not.
I've not heard one
I've
metal
never-
church song that I like.
I've never been a metal church fan, even in the early years.
I mean, it's a cool name. It's and they're
Been around forever.
yeah. And we went out to dinner the other night, and we went to the steakhouse, and I ordered a steak, of course, and my wife ordered the salmon. And metal church is like salmon for me. Like I want to like them. I really want to like them, but I should fucking hate it.
So let me ask you this, because I think both these bands are on the same level. Which one's more popular, Overkill or Metal Church? Because they both kind of fall in that.
I think Overkill because they play with more prevalent bands, I think. And I've seen a lot more new albums from Overkill in the last couple of years, and I've seen them on. They've played around us probably 5 times in the last 4 years, and I don't recall Metal Church playing around us at all.
Because both bands have a following. Both bands have been around probably equally
About the same
long.
amount of time. Yeah.
Overkill has double the monthly listeners Metal Church does on
Oh,
Spotify.
there you go. To say, I agree exactly with what you said, Steve. They tour a whole hell of a lot more, and they just seem much more consistent than Metal Church. But Metal Church is a band I never got into back in the metal days when I was really listening to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they were always a band that you heard the name and you were aware of that were around. And anytime I listen to them, I'm just like, I don't like them. I'm like Pooni.
I've even seen them live. I saw them. They used to play the clubs. Yeah, they used to play the clubs and open for people.
Are they a Frisco band?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're Frisco, but they were playing the clubs in Frisco back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I think they were trying to, when Metallica was getting through, Megadeth was coming, like they were trying to
jump
come
into
at the same
that
time, even though they'd been around a little bit. And they might even open for Metallica at a club gig or two. I'm not sure. But them and Vicious Rumors and like those guys were all kind of playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Death Angel, same shit.
Yeah.
I think Death Angel's got more shit than Metal Church because they're one also that is always on with like Testament or Exodus and you see Dark Angel in there and you see Overkill and you see Dark Angel, but like I have not seen Metal Church play our area. They may hit Philly, I'm sure they hit New York, but like there are some places in between that bands like Overkill and Death Angel and Testament stuff will play. The Metal Church has not played either.
Was it Metal Church supposed to open for Wasp? Who opened for Wasp?
Armored Saint.
Armored Saint. Yeah, all the same shit to me.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
God,
So basically another crappy band.
That's going to be awesome on work next year.
Armored Saint.
Armored Saint, except, it's going to be fucking awesome. So I just wanted to throw that out there that we're getting to that time of the year where we're compiling our lists for the end of the year. And I think I have a good 5 albums picked that are definitely going to be in my top 10. But like I think you said you got 30 and I think you got 21, you said, Steve, or Sonny. So I probably have mine without listening to the ones that you gave me to check out. I probably have between 20 and 30 in myself. So I will check those ones out that you gave me. You gave me about 4 or 5. And it's not that I haven't listened. It's just that I weren't even aware of them.
I look forward to seeing that list.
So, yeah. So, and actually I'll go over some with you too when we're done and just see if we have any ones that we haven't checked out that the other guy has.
Yeah.
So, but if Sonny had the ones that you have, so you probably have the same ones he does. No? So we'll do that later.
When it gets towards the end of the year and we start making up the list, Sonny will, I would say usually there's probably 3 bands out of his 10 that I'm like, got no clue on that one.
And that's good too, though. I mean, you guys have a good back and forth. And like, I like, when we do ours too with BC and BB and Dylan and myself, there's always Dylan's always Dylan and BB are the white. Me and BC are usually pretty much in the same lane. Dylan and BB are ones that usually throw ones in there that are a little out of the norm. I know Dylan will probably have, and BB probably will have the new Foo Fighters one in the thing. I didn't hate it. I thought it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
That wasn't bad. That's a badly cooked steak, not Foo Fighters.
I like Foo Fighters.
Salmon.
I love that record.
They're not salmon to me. They're, I was going to say, like that, some of that crazy shit we ate the other night.
Tomato water.
Yes. Metal Church is the apple thing. It's from that fucking dinner.
Overkills the tomato water.
Oh, I couldn't even get that in my mouth. It was, oh. I faked it good for the picture, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ate at this one restaurant that it was actually pretty cool. The food was, for the most part, everyone enjoyed. I enjoyed it too, but wasn't as.
And by enjoy it, he only cried a little bit into his napkin.
But the shrimp was great in that shrimp
was good. 58 things, and shrimp was great.
It was, and my chicken was good too. But yeah, so we're doing a lot of cool shit on this cruise. Hey, what'd you think of the ice skating thing last night?
I thought the ice skating thing was good. I guess you got to tie it to something. They tied it to 1887, which is a little weird, but then we heard Peter Gabriel songs and we heard Celine Dion songs. And then do you notice it went back to like Christopher Columbus days, and then they came back?
Yeah.
It was really weird, like they were time traveling.
Yeah.
So then why put a year to it? Just call travel through time.
Right.
To do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was a little slow starting, but once it got going, it was all right. I enjoyed it. I enjoy all the technical stuff and the fact that they're doing pretty amazing ice skating on the cruise ship. So I enjoy that part of it. But I saw a similar show on a different boat in December, and I thought it was a little bit better, but it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the Egyptian music was really cool when they did that part. It was like with that, like, I thought that was cool. It was good though. It was.
He was waiting for it to break out in power slave.
But I gotta say, we're on a Royal Caribbean boat, so this one is much bigger than the one that we go on Monsters of Rock cruise. But it has the same. Like it has a schooners, it has a
same venue.
Same venue type thing. And we watched the ice skating thing in Studio B, which is probably my favorite venue on the ship to see a show. And we sat in the same seats in Studio B last night that we sit in for the on the top. Well, that's where we watched Striper the last time there. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
I saw Danger, and I'm like, all right, I'm out.
We stayed, and you missed it. So it is cool to kind of have a feel for the boat, for the ship that you've never been on before, because they're similarly set up. Royal Theater as well, but it is odd. I think you guys could probably agree, being on. I mean, I know it is for me. I know you guys have been on regular cruises before, but for me, this is my first regular cruise that has not been a Kiss cruise or a Monsters of Rock cruise. So for me, I'm like, God, right about now, I'd have seen 6 bands, and it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Instead, he's choking down a steak and watching ice skate.
Yeah. And we watched a comedy show last night. That was cool. So it's definitely interesting being on a regular cruise as opposed to a rock cruise, between the Kiss cruise and Monsters of Rock cruise.
We don't have any shows tonight, do we?
Yeah, we do. We have that Columbus thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's late though.
Yeah, it's like 10:30 or something like that.
We're doing board games tonight?
I would like to do that. I would like to do that.
Board games?
What, that?
No, board games. We haven't played enough board games. We played on the first day.
Last night we didn't have 6 minutes that there wasn't anything going on.
Yeah.
I have the best shirt on right now, by the way.
No, you
by
don't.
far. Michael Sweet.
Well, it's just a rock. It covers everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not covering enough. Put it over your face.
It covers eclipse. That's all you need to know.
Hey, it's a Saxon shirt on.
Yeah, you got my favorite shirt on. I like that a lot.
And actually, I gained 2 shirts on this cruise.
I thought he was going to
Sonny gave me
200 pounds on this cruise.
Well, that's pretty close. Pretty close. But Sonny gave me his 2 shirts from the 2 bets on the last 2 Monsters of Rock cruise. So I gained a new Halloween shirt and a new Saxon shirt.
So are we going to be sitting at the first show in February on Mork and looking at each other in whatever venue it is and going,
"We're back, baby."
Have like deja vu because we're just on a cruise.
Yeah, it'll be good to get back on that. Although I'm having a blast on here. My wife's having a really good time, and I'm sure your wives are as well. So it's cool that we're all just hanging out and shit and And the ball busting doesn't end with anything. So it goes from the time we say hello or fuck you in the morning till good night or fuck you at the end of the night. It's been a good time. We've been on 3 different islands and stuff, so it's been fun. All right, so let's get into the episode. And I was kind of brainstorming and literally just came up with this idea, which was difficult, absolutely. The ship started to rock a little more than normal.
They called an SOS.
Yeah. So I wanted to do a Kiss episode, just a quick hit and run one that I could record with these guys, with it being September. And September has 5 Kiss album releases. And we have Lick It Up from September 18th, Animalized from September 13th, which is my buddy Rob's birthday, Kiss Crew Rob. Asylum on the 16th, Crazy Nights on the 18th, and Psycho Circus on the 22nd. So, good month for Kiss, and I think October has even maybe 1 or 2 more releases.
No message for the date release police when you get these weren't released in September.
Oh, okay. I'll give the exact. Okay, so this is what I have. So if the release police are out there,
you already gave it. Just give a message to the release.
Oh, okay, yeah. So release police, if they're different than that, let me know. All right. Snappy, let me know. Myself. Release police. I'm enabling. I fuck. That's just bullshit.
Here, I'll help you out, Steve. Hey, go fuck yourself if the dates ain't right.
If they're not right,
police.
Tough shit. Chew harder. So what I wanted us to do is, I said, even though Psycho Circus is in there, we have the bulk of the Kiss non-makeup period albums released in September. So I also threw in Psycho Circus. So I told these guys, let's do a quick set list, create a quick Kiss concert with a 15-song set list, and you need to use 2 songs from at least each album. And yes, I don't give a flying fuck if Psycho Circus maybe came out in September 22nd, 1998. So we're including those songs as well. And I told these guys, you know what? We watched the fantasy fucking ice skating thing last night. You can use any fucking lineup you want. Anyone that played on any of these albums, you can have on your fucking show. Like I said, 15 songs, build your show. If you want to just say your set list, or if you want to say, here's Gene's fire song or whatever, drum solo, guitar solo, whatever the fuck. So just throw them out there. So Steven, since you worked so hard on yours, buddy, I'm going to let you go first.
And you want me to give it all at once?
Absolutely.
All right, that's what she said.
And give us your method that you
all right,
set off the smoke alarms with a couple times.
All right, so let me set up the stage first before I get into the set list. So, first of all, my band consists of Ace Frehley, lead guitar, Paul Stanley, lead guitar. Yes, I understand. I can have any lineup. It's my lineup, so I get it.
I can have Paul on lead guitar.
Why not?
All right, whatever.
Paul and Ace, Eric Carr, and Gene Simmons. That's my lineup.
Wow. This is going to be one shitty show.
And
you're just going to do the solos.
And Ace is not going to be in makeup. None of them are, of course. It's all non-makeup. All right. So my set list is, I never got to see the Leon the Sphinx show. So I want the Leon the Sphinx because I never got to see that one live. But one thing I want different. So I want the Sphinx thing to be built kind of mid-level as a drum riser with a pyramid behind it. And I want Eric's drums to be covered up with a big sheet. And so I stole this from ZZ Top because they did it. But at the beginning of the show, I want the sheet to be snorted up the Sphinx's nose. And it comes up off the drums. So that was cool. You never see that ZZ Top show.
What snorts the thing on the ZZ Top?
So ZZ Top had a Sphinx on one of their tours as well. One of the later tours, like Eliminator or something like that. I don't remember which one. But the Sphinx snorts the sheet off of Frank Garrett's drums. Like it's snorting a big old thing of cocaine.
Right.
Because the sheet looks like that when it's over the drums. I just thought it was cool. So I did get to see that. But I want that over here on these drums. And let's see. Yeah, okay. And the band emerges from the pyramid below. That's what I want to have happen. All right, so my set list, and this is my set list, is all Fast Kiss. So I don't care whether Gene's singing it or Paul's singing all the songs. It is what it is.
So it's not a real set list. Because you didn't even it out.
Didn't you just say it's
your set
fantasy?
list. It's your
I never said it was fantasy.
Shut it. My set list kicks off, and this is
First of all, Ace being the lead guitar. That's a
this is a fantasy. That,
or a nightmare.
yeah, he'd never be able to play some of this. All right, so my set list kicks off with I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. Love that song. It's the perfect opening song. Holy shit. That song kicks you in the face. Second song is I Pledge Allegiance to Rock and Roll. My third song goes Not for the Innocent. My fourth song is Fight Hell to Hold You. And then my fifth song is Hell or High Water. And then my sixth song is Young and Wasted with Eric singing.
why.
So Eric's going to sing Young and Wasted.
Anytime you're going to let him sing, that song's shitty.
That'll
Can
sound
you at least
different
pick
live.
another song?
No, I like that song. It'll sound good. It's all good. All right. And then there's a short drum solo after Young and Wasted. And the short drum solo segues into King of the Mountain. All right. So we do King of the Mountain. After King of the Mountain, we have a short intermission with circus side showgirls and fire-breathing midgets and girls spinning on these little spin things that they do. And that lasts about 10 minutes. It's basically to give the band a break. And then it's about a 10-minute break. And that leads into Psycho Circus, the song. So they open up the second segment with Psycho Circus. They go Psycho Circus into Thief in the Night. Then they do Get All You Can Take off of Analyze after that, which then goes into Secretly Cruel. And then that segues into Any Way You Slice It. And then my 13th song is Good Girl Gone Bad. And then they end, well, no, they didn't end. Then they go into On the Eighth Day. And after the song, the Sphinx riser moves the drum set forward. They blow up a bunch of shit. And then the band launches into the last song, which is Exciter. And that's how they end.
All right. I like the stage. Stage is cool. Absolutely. And we have a couple things to cross over here, my friend.
I bet we do.
We do. We do. Absolutely.
You don't like to, because there's not that many albums.
Well, and there were 2 or 3 songs that I
3% of the songs.
Oh, but I mean songs on his list that are on mine.
There were some songs that are going to show up on everybody's list.
Because you're picking 15 out of the 50 songs. There's 33% of the songs. So you're going to have crossover.
You may.
There's going to be crossover unless you're picking shit. And so I knew there were some songs that were going to show up on everybody's list. And I also knew there were a couple that I left off because I knew they would be on somebody else's list. I can guarantee you one in particular that would have made my list, but I know it'll be on Sonny's.
Do you want to go next or you want me to go next?
I'll go next.
Right. We'll do my list and then we'll do the Jim song, the drums, and then we'll do the other part at the end that I have going to. All right. So my stage is going to be just like an urban setting, like a cityscape with lots of Marshall stacks. Nothing crazy. It's going to be just Kiss stripped down. My band is going to be Paul, Gene, Bruce Kulick, and Eric Carr. So I think that this is the band that musically can execute everything that is on my list here. And like I said, just kind of like a cityscape. There's going to be some tenement fires during the thing. Like when Gene breathes his fire, it's going to start this building on fire and stuff. It's going to be just all kind of urban decay kind of thing on there. So my show, I'm going to start out with, just to get the show off on the crazy foot, opening the show with All Hell's Breaking Loose. So just that great riff comes in, they come out, crowd's going nuts, and I remember on one of the Kiss cruises, they put out a survey of, what songs would you like to hear? I think that song was number one. Of course, they didn't fucking play it, but that was one of the songs that was a huge fan pick that they wanted to see on the Kiss cruise, but didn't happen.
Will they have a special guest rapper come out and rap the whole part?
No, Paul's just doing it. And then we go into a live staple of the 80s, Fits Like a Glove from Lick It Up. And then we get back into Paul's for I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. Then we have a Paul stage rap with saying how he's such a fine American, and he pledges allegiance to the United States of America, but he also pledges allegiance to the state of rock and roll. So he does one of his long things there doing that one. So then we're going to get into the urban decay part of the show. The cityscape kind of gets darkened and stuff like that. Then we hear a little Burn Bitch Burn from Gene. So Gene's going to do that, and that's going to be his fire breathing song. So that's when he's going to start the Tenement on Fire. Well, the Tenement's on fire. Eric Carr's going to begin his drum solo. So with all the crazy fire shit's going on the stage, Eric is going to be doing his drum solo. And then at the end, he's going to slow down, and then it picks back up, and then it goes to that little drum part, and they do King of the Mountain. And then after they do that, Paul comes out. We're going to, after all the fire and all that crazy shit, we're going to kind of bring it down a little bit mellow. We're going to do A Million to One. Paul's going to do that one, which how that song was never single, I have no fucking idea. Then we're going to get Bruce's A Million to One gets over, and the lights are going to kind of go down. Spotlight on Bruce. Bruce absolutely tears it up. The drums kick in. Then they go right into No, No, No. Gene stays at the microphone. We get Anyway You Slice It. Absolutely love the choppy riff in that song. Then we're going to get another Paul Stanley rap on the stage. It's going to be one of his, and then she put her hand down mine, she grabbed mine, and she did mine, and I want to bang, bang you. But then they do that. So then we get into one of my favorite songs from Asylum. Gene comes out. They do Secretly Cruel. Great song. And then another crazy one that I enjoy from Crazy Nights. Paul singing it, When Your Walls Come Down. Bruce just absolutely, I think, out of Crazy Nights, I think Bruce Kulick is absolutely the MVP of that album. Notwithstanding Paul's vocals, but Bruce's playing is just absolutely stellar on that. And then they're going to do Psycho Circus. They're going to come out. They're going to just the backdrop's going to change into kind of a circus theme for the one song. Going to do Psycho Circus, and then they're going to go off. So then they're going to come back out for their encores, and then there's going to be a big hoop of fire on the stage. Paul's going to run out, jump through the hoop of fire, not land on it like on Old School and catch on fire, but he's going to actually make it all the way through, and then he's going to go to the mic and do the Heaven's on Fire. And then for the encore, the lights are going to go out, and here come the nurses pushing the beds with Gene, Bruce, and Paul on it. And they come out and they do the dance while Kiss wraps up the show with All Night. So there's my show. It was fun doing that. And, I don't give a shit if the Psycho Circus wasn't in that era. It is kind of fun to throw those songs in there. And I think I would love to hear Bruce play how the tone would be for them to play the Psycho Circus stuff with Bruce and with Eric. I think it would be absolutely fantastic, because God only knows who played on those fucking songs on the album, Bruce may have played. I don't know who played on what on Psycho Circus. So release, please fuck yourself on that too. And so before we do Sonny's list, we're gonna do Gem Song, and Steven actually mentioned it. So Dylan's gonna throw in right here. We're gonna get the Eric Carr version from Animalize Live Uncensored of Eric Carr singing "Young and Wasted," and Sonny's sitting here shaking his head out. Play it, Dylan.
For you now, this one's called Young and Wasted.
Why do you hate that so much?
It's just pitchy. It's out of key.
So what?
It sounds like shit.
Fun.
And if he wasn't dead, we would all be saying the same thing. But because he's dead,
That's not true. That is not true. I loved it since
of a great song. I love it.
There are good recordings out there of that.
It doesn't matter. No matter what, when you hear him.
Which one is that again? Is it the one off the soundboard?
No, from the one off Live Uncensored. The video. The one from the video.
There is a good version out there. I've seen the YouTube version.
There is no good version. The Animalized Live Uncensored is the best version. And that version, he doesn't sound good singing the song.
Because he's trying to play and
Because he's trying too hard.
well,
He's not key.
So what? It's live.
It's fine with that.
Everyone does now.
No, it sounds like shit. I
don't, but I don't care. But I think it's just the
if he wasn't dead,
differentness of it.
you wouldn't give a shit.
That's not true. I liked it. I liked it.
The best bassist on the planet.
I liked it when he was alive.
So he's the best bassist on the planet.
I liked it when he was alive.
Hated it when it was alive.
But I don't like the car jam that's on Revenge.
I don't like Little Caesar either.
I don't mind.
It's not
I don't mind.
one of the worst songs on that album.
I'll agree with that, but I don't hate it. There's only one song on Hot in the Shade that sucks.
If he wanted to write, he should have wrote. Let the singer sing. You don't need to sing. He would have never made it as a singer in the band. Even if he was live. He would have never made it.
Well, that's why he didn't sing all the time. I like when he sings Black Diamond. You're too fucking picky. Let Kiss be Kiss.
you're too stern.
All right, we're back. So you may have or may not have just heard a big discussion on that song. I hope I skipped in there. So it was absolutely interesting. Yeah. So we're going to do our gems, hidden or not. So, Steven, what do you got? I know you sent me something.
I sent you something. Did you listen to it?
I did listen to it.
All right.
I'll tell you how it was after.
All right.
What you said?
Yeah, I did. I sent a song called Mary Jane by a band called Vipera. And they're a newer band. I don't know where they're from. I think they're like Italian or something. I don't have
Research.
I don't have the
Wait 3 days to record this if we weren't going to do it.
vacation. This is the spring thing. This is what you people got. This is working on our vacation a lot. So that's a good piece of rock and roll. Go listen to it.
All right, Sonny, what do you got?
So I sent you guys a band called Houston. Album's called Relaunch 3. It got released this year. If you want to try a song, the song's called Heart of Stone. They're a Sweden band, been around since 2010. Houston, Heart of Stone.
No,
You didn't send us that.
no, you didn't.
You sent us Pop Evil.
You sent us Pop Evil.
Yeah.
Crash and Burn.
That was my. Oh, I meant to say that was my. I'm listening to.
But you didn't send
You didn't send us Houston, though.
I apologize for not sending you Houston because you wouldn't have listened to it anyways. You fucking fuck.
I listened to the Pop Evil song.
Me too.
Yeah, it's very
I like it.
Journey, very Survivor. They're just coming back. Like they've been around.
They were out a while ago.
Years. And then I think they kind of, just started doing other things and they're coming back. But what's weird is they're doing all these song titles that you think are covers, but then you go listen to them. Some are and some aren't. So it's kind of hard to figure out, like, even when it's called Relaunch 3, you would think, okay, well, is that cover? So I thought the Heart of Stone was going to be a Europe cover,
Right.
but it wasn't. So it's on.
And they've released this is their second release in about 3 years. I think they've released a couple of newer records. So
Yeah, because I've listened to the one before this one, but I wasn't aware that this was one of the albums that we talked about before that I wasn't aware that came on. So check that out. I like what I heard there so far.
yeah, this one's pretty recently.
Yeah, and this one I think Steven will like this one. I know Sonny won't because it's good.
It's a shit.
And so I picked a song, and I've talked about this album a little bit that I was listening to maybe a couple episodes ago. And the band is called Hell in the Club, and the song is The Kid, and the album is called Fubar. It's one of those albums that I think is good, pretty straight up hard rock, and I enjoy it. And Steven, your song from Vipera, right? Mary Jane, I liked it too because I like to slow down and then it picks back up for the solo. Really good. And Sonny, I liked what you had going. So that's what we have going. Hell in the Club, The Kid from Fubar for myself, Vipera, Mary Jane from Steven, and Houston, Heart of Stone from Sonny. So, Sonny, let's hear your concert list, my friend. What are you going to do?
All right, so I'm stripping it down completely. We're going to the club. So think 1988-ish, before Paul's solo tour. We're in clubs. We got Paul, Gene, Eric Carr, Bruce. There's, no Kiss logo, no Spink, Storton, fucking sheets and bullshit. This is going to do some songs that we haven't heard before. They're going to add a couple that they've been thinking about doing that they don't release for years and years and years later. And you're just going to get the club experience. All right. So I had a hard time with what would open because you would think that, especially since we had to pick 2 songs from Cycle Circuits and Cycle Circuits sucks so bad, that one of the songs you're going to pick is Cycle Circuits. But the problem is it's very mid-tempo. So it's like when you compare to some of the fast Kiss in the 80s. So you can't really open with Cycle Circuits, which I was kind of thinking about doing that. So I definitely did open with I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, because you got to open with one of the fast Kiss songs. But then I did put Cycle Circus second to kind of bring it back down, right? So we're going back-to-back Paul songs with I've Had Enough and then Cycle Circus. Then you got to get to a Gene song right away because I evened it out pretty much, and we went with Fits Like a Glove. You do have to have an Eric song in there because he always sang one. I fucking hate him doing Young and Wasted. So let's see if he can fuck up another song. So I'm going to give him Any Way You Slice It. So imagine Eric Carr singing Any Way You Slice It because there's a lot of rasp to it, right? And you're not, like you could have given him Not for the Innocent maybe, right? Because that's got some rasp to it too, but I just kind of went with Any Way You Slice It. Then I went with Lonely as a Hunter, because you're never going to hear that off of Animalize. And then we have an interesting Paul rap. So what Paul does is he decides that since he's in this club atmosphere and he feels protected, he's going to call out every bitch that ever dumped him, including Donna Dixon. So he's just going to start naming off women just randomly, right? Tell them all to fuck off at the same time and then go into 1,000,000 to 1.
From here, what you missed out on?
So we go from 1,000,000 to 1. We keep it slow. We go right into Reason to Live off of Crazy Nights because it's a great song. Then we got to speed it up a little. So come back with Gene at Trial by Fire. It's a great song off of Asylum. Go right into Thief in the Night by Kiss, but off of Crazy Nights. So now we get to the part of the show where Paul knows everybody hates the song. And he's going to tell everybody in the audience to suck it. Because he loves the song. And we're going to go into Radar for Love. I'll be the only one going. I love that song. It has 400 people going because they hate Radar.
Your line just tripled.
Then you get 2 great Gene songs back to back. Girl Gone Bad. I'm not much for guitar solos and drum solos and all that shit. So there's none of that in this club gig. But instead, what's going to happen is Bruce is just going to start with the no kind of mini guitar solos he does. So he's going to go from Girl Gone Bad to no. And then we are closing up the regular set, our 13th song, with I'm Alive. So we started with I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. We end with I'm Alive. And everybody's wanting more because, well, you ended with the Fast Kiss song. So when you come back, you got to start with the Fast Kiss song. So go right into Exciter. So you get all 3 Fast Kiss songs. But then you have to close with some sort of anthem. There's no Rock and Roll Night. Get to Detroit Rock City. So really, the anthem to me on Cycle Circus is Raise Your Glasses. So Raise Your Glasses is what closes out the show for me.
Right. I like the set and I do like that there's no solos in there, and mine would be limited because I don't like long. It wouldn't be 100,000 years fine, and it wouldn't be the. It would just be something that go right into no and no. Yeah, yeah. We go to the piss line for that one, but Trial by Fire. That song fucking blows. That and Betrayed from fucking Hot and Shade. I want to jump off a cliff when I hear them. But otherwise, that's cool. I like the stripped downness of it. It was. I would go to that. And Radar for Love is great.
I love it. That's the Fifth Army, man. Its totality. It's too Zeppelin. It's like, whatever, dude.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I like it too.
All right, so there's Steven's list, my list, Sonny's list. So I wanted to do something quick here, something that we weren't having a marathon like took place the other day, which was awesome though. But I didn't want to be here for 3 hours again today for 2 days.
Why, you got a train to catch?
No, not at all. So, and that was fun. I'll just leave that there. Maybe RTR this afternoon.
For Susie. It works.
Okay. Well, we know Susie, so that could definitely work out. So, what I wanted to do is also, since the Kiss solo albums were released, please, fuck off if this is wrong as well. Thank you for reminding me to tell them fuck off, Sonny. They also supposedly came out on September 18th, 1978. So I didn't want to do an episode of September releases and not mention the solo albums as well. So we'll just a quick thing of your synopsis of the solo albums, and we're going to make one small EP with 4 songs, 1 song from each album, but just kind of give us an overview of what your thoughts are on the solo albums, and then just give me your EP, Sonny.
The solo albums, interesting idea at the time. I'm not sure if the band was showing cracks in 77, if telling everybody to go do their own thing and come back is a way to solve a crack, right? Like, you want to solve cracks in a band, you got to lock them in a room together. You can't let the 4 just go do whatever, because all that does is create more of a power flip. And you were basically asking the audience,
pick your favorite one,
your favorite solo album, right? Which that doesn't solve a crack. That creates more cracks.
Mm-hmm.
Would they have stuck around if they don't do the solo albums? Did it, solve it enough to last till 80? We don't know that, but it ended up they broke up anyway. So what was the difference, right? Doing it under the Kiss moniker, probably a good business decision because you don't want them doing it on their own. It puts the 4 in a position where they still got to do it in makeup, right? So putting the Kiss moniker on is probably not a bad idea. For me, the worst out of the 4, it used to be Peter's. I cannot stand Gene's album. Gene's album is so bad that I would put, I have a rank number 1, number 2, and then 4 and 4A. And I guess 4A, which would be the worst, is Gene's, and 4 is Peter's. And Gene's, because it's just way too weird, and I don't like Beatles anyway, and it's very Beatlesque, and, I would have took 12 Calling Dr. Loves instead of that shitty Disney song at the end. Peter's, I wanted more of a Bob Seger type album. I don't like, he doesn't play drums on the whole album. He wants to be known as the best drummer ever, but he doesn't play drums on his own album. Like, come on, dude, really? Right? So, and then the songwriting's not that great. And then he did a couple of songs that sounds like the Drifters, just worse. Right? So, not in love with that one. Aces is my second favorite, and the only reason is because I don't need the instrumental. Of all the people on this planet that are musically inclined, I do not need instrumentals from Ace fucking Frehley. I'm like, I'll take one from Eddie, I'll take one from Yngwie, get it from Ace. So that last track just kind of ruins it for me. A lot of people don't like Snowblind, Ozone. I think those are total Ace, and I love those songs. Right? So the rest of that Ace record is outstanding. I absolutely love Paul's solo record. When somebody asks me what my favorite Kiss album is, I always say Asylum. If they include the solo records, my favorite Kiss album is Paul's solo record. And yes, I do like Hold Me, Touch Me. I think it's a great song. Okay. So what I did for my EP was I picked my favorite out of the 4. So the intent of my EP was, if you pick up this EP, we're going to trick you into buying all 4 albums because 2 of them don't sound anything like the song I gave you. And 2 of them are going to. So I went with Radioactive, which is the only song off of Gene's album I can handle. I went with Hooked on Rock and Roll because it at least sounds like Peter off of the 70s albums. Well, the rest of the album sounds like that. Then I had a hard time. I was going to go with Rip It Out. But really, my favorite song on Ace's album is Speeding Back to My Baby. So I went with that. And then you got to go with You Belong to Me from Paul's solo album. If we would have included the solo albums in the playlist, Goodbye would have been my last song. Now, it wouldn't have been Raise Your Glass. It would have been Goodbye by Paul, right? So, but yeah, that's my EP, Radioactive, Hooked on Rock and Roll, Speeding Back to My Baby, and Tonight You Belong to Me.
All right. Steven.
All right.
He already forgot everything else he was supposed to do besides just the 4 songs. Right? You didn't have to repeat what you have to do.
Yeah. I just picked my favorite 4 and put them in an EP that I thought.
You're supposed to give your thoughts on the solo albums together.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about the solo albums, since you already forgot that. We just did it 10 minutes ago, but whatever.
It's fine. So the solo albums are fine. I mean, bar none, growing up, my favorite solo record was Ace's. But I have to admit, after a while, spending time with Pooni over there, he's gotten me to listen to a couple of Kiss records over the course of our 6 years together as a podcast. So I started giving it up for records like Unmasked. I just treat it differently because Unmasked to me isn't really a Kiss record. It's more of like just a good pop rock record. And I feel the same way about Paul's solo record. So I never really gave a whole lot of thought to Paul's solo record because I always thought it was a little bit too puppy and less rock and roll straight ahead because I kind of expected. Most of the Kiss songs that I like are the really riff-oriented hard rock Kiss songs, and a lot of those, the majority of them, seem to be Paul. At least that's how my favorite songs fall. Not that I don't like Anna Jean songs, because I love them. Love a lot of the Jean songs. So I never really paid much attention to that solo record until Pooni said, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this, and started getting played. Some of those songs were played like at the Kiss Expo when Bruce did that show at the Kiss Expo in Indianapolis. That turned me on to a lot of that solo record as well because he had Bob with him and all that stuff. So in short, I like Ace's. Probably still the best, but Paul's is a close second. Gene's is third. I can't deal with the Peter Criss record. I can't. Some of the stuff on Gene's record I like because I do like the Beatles, so I dig some of that stuff. It works for me, but the Peter record is just too old-timey, too just mellow. It doesn't do anything for me. And I like Peter's voice. I think Peter's voice is all right. But overall, not a great record for me. So the way I did it is I took 4 songs from the solo records as a sample for somebody who's never heard any of the solo records. And then I just put them in the order where I thought the EP flowed pretty well. And so that's how I did it. And I also didn't pick some of the songs that we've talked about so much off those solo records. Like, it seems like to me, every time we talk about the Peter Criss record, we go straight back to Hooked on Rock and Roll, which I like. That's one of the songs I like off there, but I want to try to find something different on that record to put in this EP. So I did exactly that. So my EP kicks off with Rip It Out because what a great opening track. Just kicks ass. It goes from there into a song off Gene's record called True Confession, which I think is a decent tune. Oh my God. And then we go from True Confession to a highly discussed record or a song off of Paul's It's All Right, which I think is pretty much just Paul's tribute to the Faces and the Stones. It's just a straight up rock and roll tune. I like it a lot. And then off of the Peter record, we go to Rock Me Baby, which I think is sort of reminds me of like 70s Kiss a little bit. So I thought it was an all right song. So that's my EP. Rip It Out, Into True Confessions, into It's All Right, and then ending with Peter Chris's Rock Me Baby.
That EP would be thrown out the window halfway through True Confessions. Bye.
Yeah, and for me with the solo albums, it was. I'll tell you what, I know Sonny came in late as a Kiss fan, like after this era had passed, and I know, Steven, you're not a huge Kiss fan like I have been,
Right?
And this was an exciting time to be a Kiss fan. We didn't know that they were fractured and fighting, and we all thought they lived in the big Kiss mansion and everything, So it was all together,
separate floors.
yeah. So like. It was, oh my God, there's going to be 4 Kiss albums coming out at once. Like, which one are you going to get first? Which one are you going to get first? And it was an exciting time. And I want to say I got Paul's first. You can go back and listen to other episodes, but I probably don't have it right. I think I got Paul's first. And then I think I got Peter's, and then Ace's, and then Gene's. And, but it was weird because, like, at that point, you're used to Calling Dr. Love, God of Thunder, Rock and Roll Night. You have Baby Driver and Hooligan from Peter, and you only have Shock Me from Ace, and you have all the Paul songs up till then. So we're kind of expecting everyone to line up with what songs they performed on all the previous Kiss albums. And when I got Paul's, I was like, okay. And that even ramped up my expectations even more for the other albums. And except for Sonny, I'm sorry, Hold Me, Touch Me is one of the bottom 5 fucking Kiss songs in the Kiss catalog.
Because you have no heart.
It's horrible. You heard that before?
You have no heart.
And you do.
Yeah, I do.
Your ass. Your ass. First, believe me, if you know Sonny, he does not.
He's so nice.
So, like the Paul's album gave me great expectations for the other albums. When I got Peter's, I was like, it's okay. I mean, I listened to it a lot because it was a Kiss album that I had, but there was no Baby Driver. There was no Hooligan. Like, I think if he threw 2 or 3 songs like that on there, it would have had more traction, even for the fans. But we didn't get that. Gene's has grown on me over the years. I like its
Living in Sin
Huh?
at the Holiday Inn has grown on you.
It's fun. It's fun. And there's a couple that I don't really like on there. And Aces. And I like Fractured Mirror. I don't. It's the only one that I like of those. Like when you get Fractured 2 and then Acorn is spinning and all that shit fucking later is fucking terrible. But I actually like that at the end of Ace's album. So Aces I put ahead of Paul's just a little bit because there's nothing on Ace's that I will skip, and I will skip Hold Me, Touch Me on Paul's. But like I said, it was, being a fan at that point, an exciting time to be a Kiss fan. And speaking of the solo albums, back in 2019, the episodes came out around April Fool's. Us and the Growin Up Rock podcast did crossover episodes about the solo albums. So if you want to go back and check those out, they were fun. Myself and my guys did, 2 of us did 2 albums and 2 of us did the 2 other albums. And then Steven and Sonny split the albums, and theirs was released on Hotter Than Hell and ours were released on Growin Up Rock. So if you want to go back and check those out, they were fun episodes to do. And to this day, it's the only episode that I ever edited. And I'm sure it shows. I only listened to it like when it came out just to see how it came out. And it gave me a new respect for what you guys do that edit these podcasts, because it's especially for someone that is a little less than computer savvy than myself. It gives,
Nobody computer savvy in yourself.
Come on, you got BC. Come on, but like it did give me the appreciation.
At least Steve talks into a microphone versus a picture on the wall.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it was a fun episode to do and have a good crossover episode. So my EP for the solo albums is going to open up with That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes is going to be the opening track on there. And then another fun song from the Gene album, Sonny. It's going to be Burning Up with Fever. It's got like certain funkiness to it that I think is cool.
So bad.
And then we're going to the Paul album. I'm going to throw Move On there, which I think is a good song. And I believe that they played that. They used to play that one live. So, and I know it's on the Paul One Live Kiss as well. He does that on when he does the solo shows. And then I'm going to end up the album with Snowblind from the Ace album. I love the time change in it in the middle when they do the solo. Although now it is like a fucking funeral dirge when they do it live. Last couple times I saw it, it's like so slow when they do it. And then it's like, I love it when it kicks back in to the regular riff on the album. And it's like, yeah, but now it's like, you know how like it slows down at the end on the album? That's the pace of the song that is played live now. So I wish that would go, the tempo would go back up on that live. So that's my EP. And I want to thank Sonny and Steven for indulging me in doing this episode. And we'll go around the room, final thoughts. We'll wrap up and we'll get back to our cruise. Sonny, what do you got?
Always a fun time. Gene's solo album is brutal. It's like if I had to sit down and listen to a solo album from start to finish, I think I could make it through Peter's. There's no way I can make it through Gene's. There's no way. It's so bad. Right? And to say that even sounds like the Beatles is insulting to the Beatles, to be honest. It's so bad. I don't understand how people get through it. And the crazy part about it is, 40 years later, does Asshole? Two solo albums out there. Back to the episode. Always a great time. I love talking to Kiss. I can talk Kiss all day. I came up with the idea. Had my shit done like in 5 minutes. I've heard these songs so many times. I'm like, threw it in the playlist. Okay, but it took me longer to figure out what I was listening to. Right. So, no, always a great time. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Steve.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on, even though we're probably the only 3 people on the cruise that can talk Kiss. I haven't seen any other Kiss.
They saw a girl with a Kiss shirt today.
Could she name a Kiss song?
Yeah. Probably not.
I saw a girl with a Guns N' Roses
but she had a Kiss shirt on.
Yeah, but it's always a good time. I mean, Kiss for me is not like it is with you guys. I'm a Van Halen guy, and Kiss is just one of the many bands that I grew up with that I do enjoy. So I know a good bit about them on my own, but a lot from just osmosis of being around you guys. And for me, Creatures of the Night is my entry point, and then all the Kiss that came after Creatures. So that era is probably my first known Kiss, and then all the stuff earlier I went back on. So that's kind of how just sits with me. And yeah, it's fun. I always like talking any rock and roll. Grown Up Rock Podcast. Anybody that listens to the Potter and Hell podcast, I'm sure at this point is well aware of the Grown Up Rock Podcast. 2 episodes a week. One Friday quick fix for you on Friday morning to get you to your weekend, and then the regular full-length episodes on Sunday. Myself and Mr. Pooni over there.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for recording with me today, and thank you for the use of your cabin for our recording festivities this week.
Yep.
Had a great time. We recorded some stuff for these guys the other day. That was awesome, and always great talking Kiss. Like Sonny said, I mean, I could talk Kiss for days and days. And, we're by no means experts. Like, we'll say something and someone will be, no, that's right. I don't care. I enjoy them. And it was kind of cool now, actually thinking about it, that I was an old school Kiss fan, and then Sonny didn't come in till Asylum, and Steven didn't come in till Creatures. I didn't know that till now, by the way, which is kind of cool. So we all have kind of a different entry point into Kiss, and kind of, and I know that Sonny's, if you will, Steven's term Bang Zone is Asylum era. Steven, you said Creatures. And for me, I teeter. I will have, say this week, I may be majorly into the non-makeup stuff, and I may go to the classic stuff like the next week or whatever. But I do kind of lean more towards the non-makeup stuff because it's more dynamic. And I've said it before that when that stuff was out, that was when I was branching out, going out, hanging with other people, partying, and a lot of this stuff was a soundtrack for that era of, having girlfriends and going and partying and all that stuff. So that was more of a soundtrack to that. And the 70s stuff is more of a soundtrack to my later childhood up to that point. So that's why I have equal love, but I have a little more love for the non-makeup era. And always cool talking with these guys, and we're having an awesome time on the cruise here. And I'm glad we can get an episode in here to put out to you guys. And I hope it should come out sooner than later. So wishing safe travels to everyone here back to their homes once we get off the cruise. We have the rest of today and one more day on the cruise, so we're looking forward to that. Going to have another awesome dinner tonight. And Stephen, I want to say thank you for being our cruise director, buddy. He's got us boom, boom, boom going everywhere. So
a much, much older and uglier Julie McCoy's brother.
Okay.
Stephen McCoy.
That's how he's been signing the our text group also on the boat, Stephen McCoy. It's we need to figure out a way to have a chime thing that when we get a mess, ding, 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 like they do on the boat when they make an announcement when you send a text to our group.
We can steal the one from the Grease show with the teacher lady.
Yeah, that's for sure. So once again, thanks guys for indulging me on this episode. Thanks to our listeners out there. You guys rock, and fun time here. You guys get out there if you can afford it. Get on a cruise. It is a blast. It is a great time. Go with some great friends like I have here, and go on a Monsters of Rock cruise. It looks like Kiss Cruise of No Wars, but it's a great vacation. And everybody, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you next time, and there definitely will be a next time.